Hey, Radio Gunk. Would love to know what the fullest extent of the law was when that creepy con man carcass, high pitch Eric, made a bomb threat to your show. And was Howard implicated? Very, very nice. I think high pitch Eric did that on his own to get in good with Howard. It was a real thing that happened, but it just shows you how much power Howard had. Nothing happened to high pitch Eric. And nothing happened to Howard. Me and Anthony had to just eat that. We had to absolutely eat a death threat that was coming from Howard's camp. That's how powerful Howard is. And we raised a stink, and they did nothing about it. I don't even think they gave the kid a slap on the wrist, because even if they gave him a slap on the wrist, Howard would have lost his shit over that. Howard was, and I'm telling you, you can love him all you want, but he is the biggest fucking baby. Oh, and he'll talk really tough on the air. Lately, he's going after Aaron Rodgers, and he's getting all sorts of headlines and all that. But he fights most of his battles when the mics are off behind the scenes. He's a big, and I mean a big baby. And he uses all resources behind the scenes. All of them. So then something real happened to us, and the company basically was like, we ain't going to do nothing. I'm like, it was a death threat. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you was the answer. But then if we did some little dumb thing to Howard, all hell would break loose. We weren't doing stuff on that level, that's for sure. You know, we would do just dumb stuff like show up at his press conference for his new TV show. And he refused. This is what kind of a baby he is. He refused to show up. And the media's like, why? Why is Howard late? And the reason he was late was because me and Anthony were in the back row eating dumb sandwiches, and they didn't know what to do with us. And then they escorted us out right past his dumb limo. And that was after our program director, who now works for Howard, came running to the plaza in New York City, running and said to us, what the hell are you guys doing here? Howard called up Ken Stevens, and he's yelling and screaming and ripping him a new one. And we're like, Jeremy, we're just here to check out the press conference. We work for the same company. Oh, Howard is so mad. Howard never talked about that on the air. Never talked about it on the air. Oh, but he talked about it on the phone with everyone that he could get a hold of, every single one of them. Ripping Ken Stevens a new one, yelling and screaming at Jeremy, pouting in his limo outside the Plaza Hotel in New York City. And then we had to walk by the limo. And guess what? I slowed down enough so I could look over my shoulder. And sure enough, we were about, I don't know, it's been many years now, but we were a good 50, 60 yards away from the limo. And that freak of nature popped out of the limo and walked into the Plaza Hotel to do his dumb press conference. That's your hero. Never mentioned it on the air, which would have been a great story. Oh, certainly we mentioned it on the air, and we got in trouble for that too, because they told us not to mention it on the air. I'm like, why? This is completely ridiculous. We literally went to his press conference going, you know what? We both work for the same company. You got a press conference for a TV show. We weren't even going to do anything. We literally, out of curiosity, went down there around, I think it was around lunchtime before our show started at 3. Literally weren't going to do anything. And everyone started turning around because that was the days when we were really famous. Not anymore. I understand. It's okay. Where we literally couldn't walk the streets without getting recognized all over the place. And people in there like, oh my God, you guys are here. You're not going to do anything. And I'm like, I'm looking at Anthony like, this is like the perfect scenario because we literally were not going to do anything. But then, you know, in retrospect, everyone's like, wow, the balls on Opie and Anthony. They show up at Howard's press conference. I wonder what they would have done if they weren't dragged out of the place. But sadly, I'm here to tell you all these years later, we weren't going to do anything. We were just going to sit and check out the press conference and maybe show a little support for a guy we were at odds with. And, you know, that didn't help our relationship over the years, obviously. Did Tim Sabian tell you Howard fired him when he said he had to take his dad into hospice? Yeah, that's pretty much how I heard it from Tim. 100%. God, this radio gunk is getting me to open up. The hell? Radio gunk. This is funny. Howard won't even mention he's a grandfather now. I didn't even know that. The world's oldest anorexic teenage girl won't admit he's a grandpa. And Beth is a step grandma. Jesus.